لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله الذي كان موجودا قبل حدوث الأشياء ويبقى بعد فناء الأشياء، تفرد بالأولية والقدم ووسم كل شيء ما عداه بالفناء والعدم، كما قال عز شانه: كل شيء هالك إلا وجهه وكل نفس ذائقة الموت، وقال: كل من عليها فان ويبقى وجه ربك ذو الجلال والإكرام. سبحان من لا يخفى عليه اختلاف النيات ولا يعزب عنه معاصي العباد في الخلوات. سبحان الله الذي منه خليقة العباد وإليه المعاد، فمن يعمل مثقال ذرة خيرا يرى ومن يعمل مثقال ذرة شرا يرى. نشهد أن لا إله إلا هو الملك الذي لا ينازع في ملكه ولا يضاد في حكمه، يعذب من يشاء بما يشاء كيف يشاء ويرحم من يشاء بما يشاء كيف يشاء. تعذيبه المسيئين عدل وعفو تفضل. الحمد لله، الحمد لله رب العالمين. الحمد لله الذي لا يبلغ مدحته القائلون ولا يحصي نعماءه العادون ولا يؤدي حقه المجتهدون. والحمد لله على رسول المسدد المحمود الأحمد بالقاسم محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أما بعد، فقد قال الله سبحانه تبارك وتعالى في كتاب المجيد والفرقان الحميد وقوله الحق: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. آمنا بالله. صدق الله العلي العظيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أما بعد، سلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. A few years ago, when I was here, we discussed about Hadith Qudsi. I just like to revisit that for the next couple of weeks that I'm with you, to try and get an appreciation of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is trying to tell us. Just to refresh our memory, there are three sources of information for us. One is the Quran, which is the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is no change in that. The other is the Hadith, which are the sayings and the actions of the Prophet. The meaning is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the third is Hadith Qudsi. This is communication that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had with the previous prophets, and He is informing our Prophet of what transpired before. So the words are from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the first one that we want to talk about starts with the words ajibtu. Ajibtu. You will see this, the phrases go on about 10 or 11 lines where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says ajibtu. Ajibtu means I wonder, I am amazed. Now, ajibtu is of, amazement is of two types. Amazement out of ignorance and amazement out of knowledge. Right? Be very careful to understand that. Amazement out of ignorance, right? If you bring somebody from the village into the city and take him to a supermarket, he is amazed, because he has never seen stuff like that, right? So he's amazed at this. So that ajibtu is out of ignorance. But Allah talks from a point of knowledge where He's saying, I am amazed at these people who are aware but still doing whatever they are doing, right? For example, we all know that if you put that the switch on, the lights will come on, right? We are aware that there is an electricity that flows, that there is a power that goes on, and then it goes right to that particular switch, and when you switch it on, the light should come on. So when you come in and you switch it on, the lights don't come on, you start saying, ajibtu, what's going on? The knowledge is there, but you don't know why it's not happening. So let's look at what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. قال الله تعالى, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, عجبت لمن أيكن بالموت كيف يفرح. I wonder how a person who is certain of death be happy. Allah is saying, I'm amazed at this person who knows that he is going to die. He goes and buries people every day. Right? These are all signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and still is happy. What does this idea of happiness means? Something that we need to kind of ponder over. Happiness does not mean you walk with a frown. Huh? Allah is not saying that you start because you think about death and you walk about on a frown. No. What it means is that you are not attached to this world. You know you have to go. You know you have to go one day. So be aware that this is only a temporary phase which you are in this world, and then you have to move on. You know, I observe this many times when I go for a funeral. And you may have observed, and we may be guilty of this ourselves also. You will find that this is the grave where the person is being buried, right? And everybody is standing there far away. Apart from a few people out in the front, everybody is standing far away, right? And then they only come when the talqeen is finished, the body is buried, it is all covered. Then when whoever is there will say, come and say Fatiha, that's when people will come say Fatiha and they leave. What are you afraid of? Come, look at that hole. It's 6 feet by 3 feet. 6 by 3 by 6 feet below, right? If you go to Senelek, it is 9 feet below, because you have the option of bearing two, one on top of each other, right? But here anyway, you go there, you see, come and see and say, oh, my brother, my sister, my friend, my uncle, whoever it is, today you are here. I'm coming, only a matter of time. Whether I will be your next door neighbor, or I will be 5 graves away, or I'll be 20 away, or I'll be somewhere else, I don't know. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows. But this is a sign. Not that I come to the graveyard and I am totally unaware. I'm just going through the formalities and just try and show. No. This is a sign for reflection. These are signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When somebody passes away, it is a sign for us also that you are coming to. So Allah is saying that how can a person who is certain of death be happy and totally oblivious of what is happening around there? Then Allah goes on, وَعَجِبْتُ لِمَنْ أَيْكَنَ بِالْحِسَابِ كَيْفَ يَجْمَعُ الْمَالِ. I wonder at a person who is certain of accounting on the day of Qiyamah, but still accumulates wealth. Still accumulates wealth. We still want to collect more and more and more and more. And what am I going to take with me? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing will go with me. You know, which is the richest place in this world? If I ask you this question, which is the richest place in the world? A teacher asks the students, which is the richest? Somebody says China, somebody says America, somebody says Russia, somebody says this place and that place and all that. He says, no, all of you are wrong. The richest place in this world is the graveyard. Is the Qabristan. That is where millionaires and multimillionaires and billionaires lie, but not without any penny. Yeah? All of that is left behind, nothing. The moment I die, the moment I am buried, within a few days, if not immediately, all the wealth will be dispersed. Everybody will be there asking, what about my share, what about my share, what about my share? Right? Everything will go. Imam Ali alayhi salam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad, was walking through the streets and he passed through a Qabristan, a graveyard, and he stopped by. And his ashab, his habba is with him, and they are walking there, and Imam starts now talking to these people and says, oh people of the grave, ya ahl al-qubur, right? Shall I give you news about what has happened after you have gone away? Shall I give you the news? Your wealth is all dispersed. Your houses are taken. Your wives have remarried. Your children have moved on. All that you strove for is all dispersed everywhere else. This is the news I bring to you from those of what you left behind. Now give me the news of what is happening to you. Right? And Habba says Imam is talking to them, and he was standing and observing and watching and saying what's happened, and then he sits down. He got tired of listening. Then he sat down. Then he got up. He got tired of sitting and he got up. And then finally Imam finishes and he says, Mawla, who are you talking to? He says, I'm talking to the people of the grave. Right? I'm talking to them, they can hear me. right? You can't hear them, they can hear me very clearly, and I am giving them the news of what has happened, and I'm asking them their news. You know, when you go to the graveyard, it says, you know, Assalamu ala ahli la ilaha illallah min ahli la ilaha illallah kaifa wajat. And there is one line, kaifa wajattum qawla la ilaha illallah. Right? How have you found the promise of Allah ilaha illallah? When you go there, next time observe, right? Assalamu ala ahli la ilaha illallah. Salams from you, O people of la ilaha illallah. Min la ilaha illallah. From us who say la ilaha illallah. And it goes on, and then kaifa wajattum qawla la ilaha illallah. How have you found the promise of la ilaha illallah that you believed in? How Allah is treating you now there? This is what we are saying. They are probably replying, we can't hear. We cannot hear. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, how can you keep on collecting when you know whatever you have collected, you have to account for it. Whatever you have collected, you have to account for everything, although it is no longer in your possession. You know, when you write a will, when you are alive, whatever you own belongs to you. Whatever you own belongs to you, and you are free to disperse it the way you want. Nobody has a right over it, neither does I have a right, nor does the Sharia. Nobody has a right over it except you, because it is yours. The moment you die, if you have not written a will, then it will be dispersed according to the rules of Sharia. Right? 2 shares to the boys, 1 share to the girl, the wife has a share, the parents have a share, so on and so forth. But if you wish to write, and when the Quran talks about wasiyya, it means 1/3. You have only control over 1/3. So you are free after you are dead to give away 1/3 of your wealth to whoever you wish, if you write it down. If you don't write it down, there is nothing you can do. Right? But whatever you have collected, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to ask you for all of that. So Allah is saying, how is it possible this person keeps on collecting when he knows he has to account? Then he goes on, وَعَجِبْتُ لِمَنْ أَيْكَنَ بِالْقَبْرِ كَيْفَ يَضْحَكُ. I wonder at a person who is certain of going into the grave, but still smiles without concern. He is oblivious of what is going on around him. Right? As if everybody will die, he is not going to go. As I mentioned, this young boy, 25 years old, went to sleep at night, didn't wake up in the morning. No history of juvenile diabetes or heart or nothing. Perfectly okay, plays, everything was perfectly okay. But his time was up. Right? He goes. We have no idea when we will go. And then one more, وَعَجِبْتُ لِمَنْ أَيْكَنَ بِبَقَاءِ الْآخِرَةِ وَنَعِيمِهَا. I wonder at a person who is certain of this world's doom, but still has tranquility in loving this world. The talk here is about being attached to the world. To live in this world and to gain it and to cultivate it for your advantage, by all means go there. No problem at all. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ad-dunya madhar al-akhirah. This dunya is the one where you will gain the akhirah from. So you have to live in this world, do whatever you, but do not be attached to the world. That is the key thing up here, that whereby sometimes it is lost amongst us, that we think, no. But it is very, very important that we are aware. Whenever somebody passes away, whenever some incident happens, these are wake-up calls for all of us, signs for all of us. What will this environment look, this masjid appear 50 years from now? February 15th, 2019. Let's fast forward 2069. How many of us will be here? Assume all of you are a yellow light bulb. Okay? All of you are a yellow light bulb, including myself. This light, and once that light bulb goes, that means I am gone. 50 years from now, there will be somebody else standing on this particular day up here. Right? Many of the bulbs up here will be gone. Right? There will be totally a new environment. It is quite possible that it will be a totally new crowd. The young ones will be seated out at the back. and we'll need assistance to walk, right? The young ones who are 10 and 15 and 20 years old, they will be 70 and 80 years old and so on. It is only a matter of time. Yesterday, I was as handsome as any young man out here. This is what you get now, huh? Come and check me 50 years from now, I won't be around, right? So life, it's only a phase. Life comes, life goes. Be aware, be cognizant of the fact that you have to return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Build your affiliation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Build your connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you will find that we will be better for it. This world will have lutf for its right purposes, not for the wrong purposes out there. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Wal asr innal insana lafi khusr. Illa alladhina amanu wa amilu salihat. وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الحمد لله الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. لقد جاءت رسل ربنا بالحق والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين خاتم النبيين شفيع المذنبين حبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا أبي القاسم محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم صل على سيد المرسلين وشفيع المذنبين نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وآله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعلى إمام المسلمين وقائد الغر المهجلين أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب صلوات الله عليه وآله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعلى سيدة نساء العالمين وبضعة خاتم النبيين سيدتنا فاطمة بنت رسول الله صلوات الله عليها. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعلى حسن المجتبى. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد والحسين الشهيد بكربلاء. اللهم صل على محمد وعلي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي عليهم الصلاة والسلام. اللهم صل على مولانا صاحب الزمان. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. ما هي آثار البدء والطغيان هادم أبنية الشرك والنفاق حاصد فروع البغي والشقاق صلوات الله وسلامه عليه وعلى آباء الكرام ما اتصل الليالي والأيام. اللهم عجل فرجه وسهل مخرجه واخل ناظرنا بنظرة منا إليه واجعلنا من المستشهدين بين يديه وتفضل على أمرائنا المؤمنين بمزيد التوفيقات وازدياد الإقبال وعلو الدرجات. اللهم افعل بنا ما أنت أهله ولا تفعل بنا ما نحن أهله بجاه محمد وآله المعصومين صلوات الله عليهم أجمعين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. We are all members of a community. Living in a community means learning how to manage issues, manage conflict, and so on. A sound and a progressive and a strong community is one in which wisdom prevails, where wisdom, wealth, and desire for common good come together, and there is harmony, and then progress and the community moves on. In this day and age, as we are aware, and we can see it in the political world very much so, it is customary when disputes arise to character assassin a person. I can't argue with you, so therefore I have to find faults in your character and try and talk about that. But it requires extreme wisdom not to stoop to these levels. This is something that we have to be very careful about. If you look at the history of Islam, from the early days throughout the lives of the Prophet and the Imams, you will observe that the level of wisdom existed amongst Muhammad and Ali Muhammad. Very, very important. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. When we talk about history is not to be learned so that we can say, MashaAllah, wah wah, and we can applaud. But history is where you draw lessons and you emulate and copy the good that has taken place and make sure you don't make the same mistakes that others have made. That is very important. If you look at the life of the Prophet ﷺ, you will see that in the early days there was tremendous pressure on the Prophet. He was harassed, he was cursed, his companions were harassed, tortured, and much, much more. In the early days, it was not easy for the Muslims, not at all, right? You know the story of Bilal, for example. Yeah, he was a slave, and when he basically said that he had accepted the message of the Prophet, what did they do to him? They took him out into the desert. They stripped him. They put him under the hot sun. They whipped him. Right? They put a stone on his chest. In that heat of Arabia, without any clothes, you are thirsty, they are whipping you, they are hitting you, they are doing every torture to you, they have put a heavy stone on you, and the requirement was, do not say Ahad. And every time they came to hear him, he said Ahad, Ahad, Ahad. Right? Only one, there is only one. But he stayed the course. And there are many, many examples of people who have given their lives. The first lady Shaheed was Sumayya, right? Ammar bin Yasir's parents were the first ones. His mother, Sumayya, was the one who was the first Shahida, right? And these were the ones who gave out. But they stayed the course. The Prophet stayed the course because he also had the support of two very important personalities. Hazrat Abu Talib alayhi salam and Lady Khadija salamullahi alayha. These two were there as total backup. If you look at the early days in Mecca and later compared to the time of Medina when the war started breaking out, Badr, Uhud, Khaybar, Khandak, and much more and out there, the common things in the initial stages were still the same. The kuffar of Mecca was still the same. Their wealth, their strength was all the same. The question that comes up is, why did the kuffar of Makkah did not try to kill or attempt to kill the Prophet in the early days when he was weak? In Medina, he was much stronger. In Makkah, he was not. One factor was, the most important factor was, that stands out like a shining star in the history books, is the wisdom of Abu Talib. The wisdom of Abu Talib that was there, that kept that. When the people used to come, they came to the Abu Talib and says, the kuffar of Makkah, and came to Abu Talib and says, tell your nephew, O Abu Talib, his name by the way was Imran. His name was Imran. They said, O Abu Talib, tell your nephew, what does he want? Name his price. He wants money, we will give him money. He wants wealth, we will give him wealth. He wants to marry, as many as he wants to marry, the most beautiful girls in there. Whatever he wants, just name your price. Stop saying La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. Stop this. Only 2 sentences. Huh? Stop saying this and whatever he wants. Abu Talib conveyed the message. He said, this is what the Makkans are saying. The reply was, oh uncle, tell them, if they give me the sun on the right hand and the moon on the left hand, I will not stop. Which are impossibilities, right? So the message was very clear. The Prophet's vision was totally clear that that's where he needed to go, and that is where we really need to go. Only after Abu Talib and Khadija salamullahi alayha passed away did they start making attempts to try and kill him, right? And that is where Hijrah happened. That's another history. Just to paint a picture up here. The point I'm trying to make up here is that whenever we are faced with situations, we have to exercise wisdom. We have to think beyond what is happening right now. And if we talk, what will be the effect? We have to think, if we say something, what will be the repercussions of what we are saying? Very, very important, especially when you find yourself in a volatile situation. Watch your words. Make sure you talk intelligently. And you will find in situations like, and I just want to share a couple of examples with you to give you an idea of how wisdom is applied by different people. And I'm sure within your circles you have heard of different people and different examples that you can relate better than I can do. But just to get the point across. For example, many years ago back in Africa where we were, there was a marital case where the boy and the girl did not get along. And it came to a situation whereby now there was no course of action except for divorce to happen. But the sticking point up here was, okay, how much will the boy give the girl in terms of financial remuneration? Because in those days, remember, the women did not work. The women did not work, they were reliant on the men. So how much would have... So there were issues happening, and there were always wise guys who were trying to play one against the other and create more fitna within the society. So Marhum Muhammad Ali Megji, who used to be the president of Africa Federation at that time, got wind of this one. So he calls the boy. Talks to him, finds out what the issues are, and basically realizes that the boy says, the girl is fine. There's nothing wrong with her. The problem is we don't get along, right? Nothing wrong with her. She's a good woman. She's fine. But I cannot live with her for whatever reason. We cannot get along. So he said, okay. Then he calls the girl and her father and talks to them, gets their background. And the girl says something similar that, look, the man is perfectly okay. There's nothing wrong with him. But I just cannot get along with him, right? There's nothing wrong. It happens in life, right? So he said, okay. Now he calls back the boy. And then they talk about it, and the issue was how much money would the boy give the girl. So he calls the boy again and he says, okay, so we have realized this is the situation. I have a question for you. The question is, how much money are you willing to give, and so on and so forth, right? So they were kind of talking. Then he says, I'm going to ask you a question. When you were married, you used to give your wife some pocket money, right? Whatever to spend, whatever she wants to do, without no questions asked. Said, yeah. He says, there was ever any time that happened in your life whereby, in your married life, whereby you suddenly did not have money in your pocket, and you asked your wife, can you give me $5 or $10 or whatever it is that you may have for whatever you wanted to do? And she gave it to you, right? Said, yeah. Yeah, that happens. So he said, did you ever pay it back? He says, Morabi, what are you talking about? This happens between husband and wife, He says, no. What if she stands, this was her money. You asked to borrow it, right? You asked to borrow it, which means you're going to return it. Whether there is, an agreement that you will not is another story. But you asked to borrow it and you basically did not return it, right? He said, yeah, that has happened. He said, yeah. What if she stands on the day of Qiyamah and says, you borrowed $10 from me, you didn't pay me back? Then what? So he got up. He says, enough. Don't say anymore. Here is a blank check. Here is a blank check. Write whatever you want. Write whatever amount you want. 2 conditions before you give out. 1, tell me what you are writing so I make sure there is funds in the bank so the check doesn't bounce. Okay? Make sure you tell me how much you have written in advance before you hand it over. And 2, before you hand it over to her and she accepts, ask her this question, that this I am handing over to you. My account, your account with your husband is clear fi dunya wal akhirah. That is my condition. That she must tell you by words that this account is now clear and that there is no outstanding anywhere along the way, and that is fine. I said, okay. He calls the girl and the father and says, okay, what is it that you want? In those days, this is 50, 60 years ago, the amount was, I don't know, 2, 3, 4, 500 rupees or shillings or dollars, let's say in dollar terms. He says, what if I give you 1,400? I said, well, that's good. That is very good. I'll be happy. I mean, this is more than I expected, but there is one condition. What is the condition? That if I hand this over to you, then fi dunya wal akhirah, the account is clear. She says, absolutely. Absolutely, this is clear now. There is no issue whatsoever. This is how a matter was resolved very easily. Very easy. Otherwise, it would have become a nasty matter out there. It is aware. The reason why this all worked is that the boy had Iman. The boy believed in the day of Qiyamah that he had to answer Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? And that is why when you find yourself in situations, whether it is a family issue, whether it's a husband and wife issue or whatever, make sure you try and understand both parties and see if there is an attachment to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or not before you. If I talked like that to somebody who does not believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I'm wasting time. I'm totally wasting time out there. So very, very important. The point I want you to take away is wherever you find yourself in the situations, use wisdom. Use wisdom. Try and draw from lessons from Muhammad and Ali Muhammad and see how they acted and try and apply that, and we will become a strong and effective community out here. This is where we really need to be. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us and keep us on the right path, the path of Muhammad and Ali Muhammad. And may He hasten the appearance of our Imam and give us the tawfiq to recognize him and to be of assistance to him. Very important is to be able to recognize him and to be of assistance to him. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Inna Allah ya'muru bil adli wal ihsan wa ita'i dhil qurba wa yanha anil fahsha'i wal munkar wal baghi. يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. اللهم صل على